everyone, it's Sharana from Payroll Waits, and today I'm going to be reviewing Our Kind of People, episode 4, Crabs in a Gold-Plated Barrel. You guys, I need you to give me grace, okay? I appreciate you guys reaching out to me. I appreciate the comments that you have, but please know that I work 4 jobs. YouTube is only one of those jobs. I work a full-time day job, and I work 2 additional part-time jobs, and YouTube is still pretty much a full-time job as well. So I'm getting y'all videos, scenes from a marriage. I'm gonna put it out tonight because like y'all been emailing me, messaging me. I know it was good, wasn't it? But just give me grace. And I'm in the middle of moving. So like right now, some days like Sunday, I just wasn't in the mental, like physical, or like I just wasn't in the mental headspace to give you the energy that you guys deserve, okay? Because we're not gonna half do it. We gonna half put out a video for you. I just want to give you all of me, okay? All of me loves. I'm sorry, that had nothing to do with what I was talking about. But just know videos are coming. They're just gonna come in sporadically. Just bear with me, okay? So let's get into this week's episode. So last week's episode ended with Angela basically randomly going to see her baby daddy, talking about Nikki needs to know her father. He was like, "Beesh, what?" And I'm like, "Beesh, what?" Because I'm just like, where is this coming from? And I think that this is one of my big issues with the show. It's like too many like bombshells, or like, I just think that it doesn't hit the way that they want it to hit. Like, the whole her meeting her dad or going to see her father, I don't know, it was just weird to me. It just felt out of place. It felt very random. It was very much like, I don't really care. And it's just like, for a show like this to work, like you have to actually get people invested in the characters first before you start giving all these revelations. And I don't know, I think that they're coming a little bit too fast. It's like, I know y'all trying to get an audience, like get them hooked, but it's almost too much that's happening right now. And I don't know how, it's so much happening that I don't even know how necessarily a show like this would be sustainable for multiple seasons, if you get what I mean. But right now, that's just like a little, it's something that's bugging me right now. So she ends up saying that, well, he tells her that her mother had been sending him a picture of Nikki every single month, and then the picture stopped coming, so he figured something was wrong. And so then she was just like, you know what? She was like, well, you made a decision to be here. And then he was just like, girl, why now? Because you spent the whole time trying to make sure that I wasn't in her life. So why all of a sudden do you want her to know her father? And I'm like, these are the questions that I need the answers to as well. So she was like, you know what? I shouldn't have came here. And I said, girl, what? So he starts reciting, it felt like he was reciting poetry, and I tried to look up what he was actually saying, or if it came from an actual poem. So let me know in the comment section below if it did. But also to let y'all know, I'm watching this before it actually airs, so I don't have subtitles before y'all come in the comment section like, well, it said this in the subs. I don't have subtitles, okay? So she ends up leaving, so I was just really confused about what that whole scene was supposed to be about. But we see later in the episode, somehow he done got him a phone. I say everybody got phones in prison, probably more than people outside of prison. I'd just be a little confused by that. But we see that he is writing a letter to Teddy Raggedy behind. So I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I'm sure they'll let us know in a couple of episodes. But we see that her aunt is telling her she's the talk of the town, that everybody knows that she is a Franklin. And we see that I was so happy to see Alex Newell on the show. I love him so much. If you know him from Glee, Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, absolutely amazing. Plays Angela's cousin. He's going to MC the opening for her hair care line. And so we see that she ends up going to her incubator meeting because, you know, she basically put herself in the incubator program last week. And her colleagues were just being very disrespectful, very shady. I was like, okay, bitch, you got an MBA in what? All right? I have an MBA too. What? So I was happy that Raymond checked her. Like, baby, don't act like your people didn't make no phone calls either, because I guess you have selective amnesia right now. But we see Leah ends up giving her a whole bunch of homework and basically says that she needs to present this big presentation with the business plan, number, all this stuff at the opening. And so Leah basically told her that she needed to earn her own place. Like, you got in, but you got to earn your spot. And she was like, because we don't owe you nothing. And she was like, maybe some back child support. I said, Leah, why are you so disrespectful like this? Just why? So essentially, when we see that she ends up going home, the press are out there trying to get info from her on what is happening, asking for a statement. And she sees Nikki comes outside to get her mom, and the press starts talking. She's like, you better not talk to my child. Sometimes Yaya be doing, she be very extra in the delivery of her lines, and she does a lot of like neck rolling. Like, it's a lot of this happening. And I was just like, let's just calm it down a little bit. Just calm it down just a little bit, because it'd be a bit much and it comes off just too overly dramatic. But we see that she tells them about the opening really to just gain more exposure for her hair care line. And then she tells them to get off her property very kindly. And so essentially she wants to find a way to throw, you know, the whole Malia giving her all this extra work to do, knowing that it was her opening back into her face. So she decides to use the Great Cities and to talk about their experiences with their hair, which I actually really like this portion of it, of them talking about how, you know, how society has tried to make their hair an issue, or to not allow them to embrace their hair, or how, you know, there are stereotypes and prejudices, how people judge us because of what our natural hair looks like, what black hair looks like. And I really love the stories that we, you know, get to hear. We heard about the girl who was on the cheerleading squad whose hair didn't swing the same way. I was like, that was me. Because they was like, girl, you gotta put your hair in a ponytail. I said, I don't know if y'all saw, but my hair's short. So what type of ponytail y'all talking about? Like, let's get with it. What are you doing? I did go to a predominantly white school, but I really like that aspect of it. I think that's the part that they really get right, is really celebrating black hair, celebrating black women's hair, and really empowering women to be their authentic selves. I really like that. I don't know why I'm struggling to talk today, but just bear with me, all right? So we see that Tyreek is uninstalling the camera, so I don't know if he just feels bad about spying on her, but he said, oh, there's a recall, so I have to get some different ones, so he's taking them out. So he a little salty because she didn't tell him that, you know, who she really was, or how she knew that she was Teddy Raggedy behind daughter. And so he was just giving her advice, like, I just don't think that you should poke the bear with them. Like, just do what you came here to do. But like, he just wants peace. He just wants peace in the world. And so basically she's like, maybe we need to take some space. And he was like, baby, I'm finna give you all the space you need. And I said, you know what, Tyreek, you raggedy anyway because you spying on her. Like, I don't care for Tyreek. I know y'all love Tyreek. I don't care for Tyreek because it's just, I don't like the lies and the deceit. I don't like the lies and deceit. So we see that Leah ends up getting wind of what is happening with what Angela is doing with the Great Cities. And so basically Leah ends up recording Angela going off on her and takes it out of context, posts it online. So of course she's lost followers, she's being canceled. You know, what I didn't like though is when she went to go confront Leah and Leah lied about it. I'm like, girl, if you're gonna be disrespectful, just own up to it. But we see that they end up having a conversation, and she's just like, at the end of the day, like, your mom ruined my family. Like, my father's love was split between me and somebody else. And then she was just like, but that's on your dad. She was like, but I don't care about you. She's like, actually, I'm ashamed of you. And I was like, dang, Leah, like, that's how you really feel, baby? I was like, well, if you're saying all of that, you could have at least owned up to what you actually did. So I was just a little confused because Leah act like she all big and bad. But when it's time to be big and bad, she don't want to own up to it. So I was a little confused. So we see that Nikki ends up having a conversation because I think the media attention is getting too much for her, and especially after her fight went on social media, it's just overwhelming for her. So she tells her mom, like, hey, I just don't feel comfortable being the face of Eve's crown, which, you know, kind of bums her mom out. But she was like, I totally understand and I respect your privacy. But we see this was some bad acting. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. When Nikki's having a conversation with Taylor, and even though I knew they were going this route, I still wasn't quite sure how they were gonna do it. So basically, Nikki and Taylor almost kiss, but it's just so awkward. It's so random. It just came out of nowhere. I was like, can we build? Y'all, you know how like you gotta have foreplay before you get to the D? Can we have some foreplay? Does it always have to be shock, or random? I don't know. I don't know if it's the acting or if it's the writing for me. I don't know. let me come back to that. We're going to table that. But I was confused because obviously Taylor's feeling Nikki, and then we see them kiss at the end of the episode at the party. But she got back with her raggedy Leah's daughter. So I'm just kind of confused about this entire love triangle that we have going on. It just doesn't make sense because it seems like Taylor's interested in Nikki and not in Leah raggedy daughter. So that's just weird to me. I don't know how that's going to play out, but it is what it is. So we see that no one ends up showing up to the party. And so Angela's cousin makes it better, goes and talks to Nikki like, hey, we need to help your mom and we need to band together, and gives her a very inspirational speech. And then she brought in all the ladies. They face was done up, hair done up, giving a little performance for everybody, getting them party cracking, okay? And then Angela ends up giving a speech before, basically, I did like that she put her sister first, even though Leah's very raggedy. But I think sometimes, like, it's easy for Angela to feel hurt because her father chose Leah over her, but she never thought about the repercussions of what him stepping out on her mom being sick, going to a mental institution, and, you know, that did a lot for Leah. And so I like that, you know, Angela's very much about empowering, and I don't know, why am I struggling with that word, but really helping uplift all Black women, all women together. And I was happy that, you know, she told people like, hey, this is a hard time for all of us, even Leah, like, just give us grace. Like, we're not out here trying to have no drama. We're not giving you no tea. We're not giving you no gossip. We just here to celebrate hair, and that's it. And so, you know, everything turned out good. Tyreek showed up. He dropped off a bottle and they made up. They start kissing because she's like, I don't want you in the middle. And he was like, baby, let me be in the middle. Oh, baby, why don't you just meet me in the middle? I'm sorry. But they basically make up. And I think that's pretty much it with them. I think that's it with Angela. But Teddy got a lot going on. So Teddy's golfing. And he's golfing with one of the basketball players named Lenny, played by Saranis Jackson. And essentially, he's trying to get all this stuff together for the stadium that he's trying to build in the name of his dead brother, who was a Black Panther. And so when the white people get a hold of this, they weren't too happy about it. We also see that he's being ostracized by some of his friends or colleagues or whatever in the area. And so he tells Leah, like, you need to take care of all this raggedy drama that you unfolded because you couldn't keep your mouth shut because you was having a temper tantrum. You need to figure out how to handle your sister. But in the meantime, he's having an issue because this raggedy white man who owned the stadium, I guess the old stadium, when he said, now who said that Black lives don't matter? I said, sir, you going to hell. You going to hell. And I don't say that a lot about people, but he going to hell for saying that. And essentially, they basically had an issue with the fact that he wants to be political with the stadium, that he wants to name it after his brother who was a Black Panther. And they have an issue with this because how dare you, Black men, have all this money to buy a stadium, have it in your brother's name who was a Black Panther, and not go with any of the sponsors so you can be as political as you want. How dare you, Black man? And so essentially, Teddy ends up stealing the concessions contract and using Raymond's company in order to get that bid. Even Leah was looking shocked, but she had to play along. But she asked him at the end, like, what is happening with you? Because there's something wrong with you and I can see it, but I know that you're not telling me something. And so basically he ends up telling her that he has Parkinson's. And so he was like, he's not going to go out without a fight. He's going to leave a good legacy. And so Leah and Raymond are having issues. They were in a counseling session and basically she left to go take a call from her dad. And Raymond just has an issue because he feels like he's playing second fiddle to her father when they're in the therapy session, which her hair was very late in that therapy session. I was like, yes, sis. But essentially, the therapist told them that you guys need to take your mask off and you need to really show each other who you are, which kind of hints back to what she was saying last week, how she doesn't feel like she could be honest with her husband, that she could really tell him what's going on. And we see that she's keeping a lot of information from him, especially when he has the business meeting, he's trying to close a deal, and then he tries to get some of the financial earning statements, and then basically he's locked out of the books. He can't get anything. And so we see that they end up having they're supposed to have this dinner, but she was late because she went to dinner with her dad first. And so essentially he was like, I know when our marriage went wrong. It went wrong when you asked your dad to bail me out, my company out. And I felt a little conflicted about this because I definitely believe in, like, you know, a man wants to feel like a man, like he could provide for his family. But at the end of the day, if you also need to put your pride down and ask for help when you need help. And I don't know. I'm a little torn by that. I can see why he has an issue, why she's always putting her dad first before him. But for him, he was just like, basically, you need to decide what partner you want standing next to you. Do you want it to be your father, or do you want it to actually be me? And, you know, he asked her, why is he locked out of the books? And she lied. I was like, girl, you can't even lie right. Dang. Like, at least lie right. At least your daddy can lie right. What? I don't understand. How did his genes skip over you and go to Angela? I don't get it. But we see at the end of the episode, another shocker, plot twist. He basically meets up with Shelby. I don't know if that's not her name, but I was like, oh my goodness, Shelby. Was that her name, Shelby from the Best Man? Was it Sheila? Shelby? Is Shelby still Magnolia's? Y'all know who I'm trying to talk about. This old girl from The Best Man, okay? Which made the shock. That was the shock for me. But it's his ex-wife. And essentially, he wants her. She's a reporter to dig up all of this dirt on Teddy Franklin and the family so he could take him down. So I don't know what's going to happen. But actually, that's actually what I'm more interested in. I thought we were just going to be doing power struggles back and forth. Like, you know, kind of like a Black Succession. I don't know, but overall for me, this episode, it's fine. I mean, the series so far, I'm going to keep watching. I'm going to keep supporting uplifting Black shows. But I just feel like some of the acting is a little bit over top, especially with Yaya's character. And also, too, I just feel like we need to slow it down a little bit and just get everybody invested in the characters first. So kind of like the twists and turns and these big shocking reveals, they can kind of actually hit the way that they want it to hit. It doesn't have the impact that I think that they actually think that it has. But I'm very interested to know your thoughts. How are you feeling so far about Our Kind of People? Please let me know in the comment section below how you feel. But those are my thoughts on Our Kind of People episode 4, Crabs in a Gold-Plated Barrel. As always, my name is Sharana from Marital. And if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit that notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. And until I see you again, bye.